Hello friends, Nayaswami Hriman here. I'm speaking to you from Linwood, Washington, just north of Seattle. And I have here a question sent to me by somebody in India. And it says, "Good morning. Is spiritual success incomplete without material success? If one is blessed with an immense talent and opportunities, from God in the form of, say, art or sports, but gives it up to meditate on God, is it a sin against God? Had Albert Einstein or Beethoven spent their lives meditating, going on pilgrimages, or listening to spiritual discourses, would they have been unfair? Would that have been unfair to their natural talent?" It's an interesting question, I think, that sometimes aspiring devotees face, maybe earlier in life. I know I faced something like that, coming into high school and seeing the turbulent world that I was facing in the latter part of the 1960s. And I even chose to postpone my destiny with the culture by going off to study for the priesthood in a preparatory seminary high school. But it was not to be. And the basic thing is that there's no conflict, or I should say, if there is a conflict, then the higher dharma, the higher seeking, should govern over the lower. But one of the great contributions made to spiritual teachings by the lineage that I am blessed to be part of, that of Paramahansa Yogananda and Swami Sri Yukteswar, his guru, and his guru's guru, Lahiri Mahashaya, etc., is the fact that in this day and age, what's been given to us by our own dharma is the understanding that it's not an either-or choice on the spiritual path. It's a both-and choice. Now, we have to be careful with that, because if we think we can have our cake of delusion and ego gratification and attachments while yet being spiritual, that's not what we're talking about. And you know what it means, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita from ancient times, if we can live in this world without attachment, fulfilling our rightful duties, which can include making the best use of the talents we have been given, we can still find God. We can still have a spiritual life. We can still move forward and upward, as it were, towards our soul's destiny to achieve infinity, to achieve God consciousness. And so, what if Einstein had abandoned his scientific aspirations, or Beethoven his musical aspirations in the search for God? Would that have been right or wrong for them? Well, of course, I can't answer that, but let us just say that they could have done both at the same time. Now, as I say, that should not be an excuse to simply imagine you can have your cake and eat it too. There has to be sincerity in that acceptance of both your dharma and your inclinations, legitimate inclinations, and your spiritual destiny and aspirations. Let me just check my notes and my reply. Material success in the outer world can be a foundation for spiritual success. Why? Because the other great contribution to understanding brought to us in this age by this lineage and others is that energy, and even scientifically, speaking of Einstein, energy is the basis of all matter. Energy is the basis of all not consciousness, but success through concentration. And so it is that very often, well, for example, Yogananda's chief, most advanced spiritual disciple was a self-made millionaire in the American 20th century. And I think that was the case not only for the practical purpose of funding Yogananda's work during his lifetime, but for the fact that this symbolized the spiritual man of the current age of Dwapara Yuga, one who is successful, high energy, creative, and yet focused unwaveringly on God. Okay.